not by accident. This is all by design. You believe germs and bugs cause disease because it's very profitable for you to believe that. Hello, my name is Dr. Melissa Sell, and I am a chiropractor, and I teach from the perspective of the 5 biological laws of Germanic New Medicine, which, if you've never heard of this before, please go to YouTube and look up GNM 101 and watch my introductory video, because it will kind of get you on the same page, caught up to speed a little bit with what I'm going to be talking about today. Because within the paradigm, the framework of Germanic New Medicine, there are some very profound nuances about the understanding of human health and biology than is commonly accepted by basically everyone, whether the mainstream, just conventional medicine, or the alternative world. GNM is different. And it is the differences within GNM, which I believe sets it apart from everything else. Also, I believe it's what makes it the true reflection, or the closest thing to the true reflection of what's actually going on with human biology and physiology and disease conditions in the body. So really just a super brief capsule summary of Germanic New Medicine. Dr. Hammer discovered that what we consider disease, when we have a rash, a tumor, a headache, heartburn, digestive problems, what we consider disease is not due to something going wrong in the body. It's not due to a germ. It's not due to a virus, a bacteria. It's not due to the food that you ate. It's not due to the things we typically think that disease is due to, or the mysterious ones, like it must be the genetics, or it must be some kind of thing from the outside. What he found was that the conditions of our bodily tissues that seem to be diseased, in fact, are part of something called a biological special program, where your body, embedded within it, is deep intelligence, generations upon generations upon generations, going very, very far back. Your current human body is very, very ancient and very, very wise, and it knows how to survive certain life-threatening situations by adapting the physical tissues of the body. You know, like in a video game where you can construct a shield. I need to build some swords. I need to build the stuff to protect my body. Your body has embedded within it the ability to protect itself, to help itself survive life-threatening situations. And the way it does this is the brain communicates with the tissues of the body following a shocking trauma, and the tissues of the body begin to change depending on the nature of the traumatic thing that's going on. For example, if you have a death-fright conflict, you all of a sudden are afraid for your life. Your body immediately picks up that message. Immediately there's an impact in your brainstem, and immediately the tissue of your lung will begin to proliferate, which means additional cells will be added to your lung alveoli. The biological purpose of this is so that you have more alveoli to absorb more oxygen, so that every breath that you breathe in, your body is becoming extra oxygenated, so that you can get away, so that you can fight or flee. Fight or flight. This is the sympathetic nervous system. This is the basis of tissue adaptations. Body shifts into fight or flight mode. Tissues of the body begin adapting immediately. And then you get safe at some point. Sigh of relief. I'm safe. All is well. And at that point, your body shifts gears from tissue adaptation mode to reconstruction and repair mode. So for this example, more tissue was built, which means during the healing phase, that tissue needs to be decomposed. How does the body decompose this tissue? Bacteria, fungus. The body uses bacteria and fungus to decompose cells that are no longer needed. Just like mushrooms decompose trees. Just like bacteria decomposes all sorts of things. Pretty much everything. There's bacteria. When you leave bread on the counter for too long, there's mold. It's part of the cycle of life and of nature. Bacteria are important. Bacteria are controlled from the brain. Bacteria do not have action of their own. They act off of signals from the brain. Have you ever heard of latent TB? These are people just around. You could swab them. Look under a microscope. What will you find? You will find tubercular bacteria. But these people are healthy. They don't have any symptoms. Oh, they have latent TB. Okay, so the TB just kind of chills there. It's just there. What makes the difference between when it's doing its thing and a person has an infection versus when it's not? Oh, we don't know. Dr. Hammer knew. He knew that tubercular bacteria work off instructions from the brain. And when the body shifts from conflict active, sympathetic, fight or flight, to resolved, parasympathetic, that is when the bacteria get the information to start decomposing the additional tissue cells. This happens all over the body. This happens with yeast infections. This happens with breast gland tumors. It's very interesting stuff. So like I said, go watch GNM 101. That's the big picture, guys, is that what we think causes disease is a misunderstanding. We thought tubercular bacteria caused the disease. Okay, so what do we do about it? Well, we take antibiotics to kill that bacteria because it's bad. We don't want it doing what it's doing because it's making you sick, of course. Or we try to preempt the body so that with a vaccination, we try to trick the body into thinking that it already knows about this, because we've got this idea of this thing called the immune system. And if we just give it a little bit of it, then the body will mount an attack. And then the next time the body will be able to attack. And so we'll be fine. It'll kill the bacteria before it ever does anything. This completely changes everything about that model. Everything we thought we understood about cause and effect. And it truly is. It's like thinking that the fire truck at the fire caused the fire because it's there every time. But it's there for a different reason. So that's where we come to the story of viruses. You would think that there's very good evidence that the scientists know for a fact there is a thing called a virus, and we've done all these studies and we've figured out this is exactly what this thing is, and that 100% of times when we put this thing into an organism, this organism always develops sickness. I mean, that would be the way to prove it, right? That hasn't been proven. It may shock you to know this. It has not been proven that there's a thing called a virus that infects people and causes illness. This is an illusion. This is marketing. This is magic. This is very convenient and profitable. Very convenient and profitable for people to believe this. And it's very easy to convince them, look here and look here, but we're not looking at all these other places. And this is how narratives get formed and people develop belief systems. There was a study, the 7-country study by Ansel Keys, and it proved that higher cholesterol caused higher heart attacks. And people are like, oh, where's cholesterol? Well, it's in eggs and it's in meat, it's in butter. So we make fake butter, fake meat, and fake eggs. We take pills. But cholesterol is made by your body. It's a healing agent. The body makes it. So you can go and you can have your cholesterol test, you can take but your body is attempting to make this, and you're attempting to stop the body from making it. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And so much about what we believe is true regarding medicine does not make any sense. People go to read research papers. They read the title, they read the summary. It says, oh, this is a conclusion. They don't read the actual paper. I mean, try to read a paper. It's exhausting and it's not fun. And think about the average doctor. How much time do they have to be reading what's actually happening in the paper? So there's so much deception in the world of medicine. And many of you watching this video, you know this firsthand. you've had something crazy happen. That's how most people come around to the alternative side, is they've like seen some stuff happen that's like, this is nuts. How they are attempting to bring health back to my body is making me worse and worse and worse. Why would I keep listening to them? That's how a lot of people become disillusioned within the system. Something happens and they get hurt. They wake up, they see, wow, this isn't working. And so they find chiropractic or, nutrition, they find their way in somehow. And slowly but surely they start seeing that the entire history of medicine is laced with fraud and corruption. They deliberately, the American Medical Association deliberately went out of its way for you to think of me, who has a degree in chiropractic, as a quack. There was a committee on quackery, and they got found out for it in the 80s, and they got charged with violating the Sherman antitrust law or act or whatever. And so this is not by accident. This is all by design. You believe germs and bugs cause disease because it's very profitable for you to believe that, even though it's not true. It's not true. I had, within the realm of holistic health, which is where I come from, which is boost the immune system, get your spine adjusted and eat these good foods and avoid these certain foods and toxins and get plenty of sleep. And, all those things are awesome. And I'm not, putting them down at all. But in that world, I was like, yes, I know how to be healthy. I know how to prevent cancer. I know how to prevent heart disease. I mean, it's all in my hands. It's all the choices that I'm making, and my exercise and my sleep and my stress levels. It's like, like I had it on lockdown, all the lifestyle stuff. And I was, certain that this was the answer. This is everything. But even in that model, sometimes there would be outliers. There would be people who did everything right, but still developed diseases or sicknesses. Or sometimes I'd get sick and I'd be like, oh, well, it's probably because I had a peanut butter cup a couple of days ago. And that must have, when you eat sugar, it kind of paralyzes your immune system. And then, the bugs and germs can take over. And then that's what made me sick. And so that was my thought process. It was like, oh, I thought I was doing everything right, but I got sick. And so it must have been some toxin. Some random toxin out in the world. Maybe they were spraying for bugs or something and I got exposed. And then maybe that's why I got sick. Something outside of me. The cancer ones were really tough for people who had been long time, like health nuts, and teachers and these amazing people who just they look so healthy. And then they develop cancer and it's like, whoa, I thought they were doing everything right. What am I missing? And what was missing is the work of Dr. Hammer and the 5 biological laws, and understanding that you could eat all the best foods and do all of the nutritional protocols and get the best, you can do all of the things. But if you get caught off guard, and if something happens in a moment and you're shocked and you're having this experience, your body's going to adapt. Your body is going to proliferate lung tissue cells. And if that death threat conflict goes on for a very long time, you will form a lung tumor. But it won't be something wrong with your body. It's something very right with your body. It wasn't because your immune system was poor. It wasn't because, there was a genetic defect and something just went haywire and there's just cells replicating because your body's stupid. It's not because of that. It was a deliberate and intentional adaptation in response to a biological complex shock. And when that healthy person resolves that conflict, their body will start the decomposition process. Their bacteria, even if they've been eating perfect, even if they haven't had a grain of sugar in years, even if their immune system is top notch and they've been doing all their greens and their vitamin C IVs and all that stuff, their body is still going to go through this process. And that's one of the major distinctions. It's seeing that this is not an outside agent. This is an internal, 100% internal experience. There is no thing that I can get on me that if I'm healthy and unconflicted, I will not develop an infection. I will not develop a disease because my body did not get the signal to adapt and then recover. And so when we have a debate about germs and masks and protecting people, and people get mad and they get enraged that you'd even not do such a simple thing, That's why I wrote a post. Go look it up if you haven't seen it. How for some people, wearing a mask makes them feel safe. And for some people, wearing a mask makes them feel conflicted. And so how it can protect one person, but cause problems for another person. This is why individuality is so important. And the individual is the smallest minority on earth. And if we do not protect the rights of the individual, the right for a person to choose to not do something that doesn't make sense to them, that they disagree with, that is morally wrong to them, that is incorrect or is stupid, or they just plain don't want to do it. They should have the right to do that. Period. Bottom line, in all circumstances. Because as soon as you take that right away from them and you say, no, you must do this because of everybody else, you've committed the greatest crime. You've committed a crime against the individual. You have sacrificed the individual for the sake of the group, of the collective, because everybody else decided. And that is wrong. That is wrong. And you say, oh, well, you're putting people at risk, and there are people that this and people that. Every individual is responsible for his or her own health. Health is an individual, subjective, internal experience. And I can only be affected by you and your health to the extent that I subject myself to the same fears and the same problems that you have. And me, in myself, can build a mental immunity, a mindset of immunity, a mindset of inability to become perturbed or disturbed by bacteria and viruses. And for me to have to subjugate myself and to do something I don't want to do, that I don't like to do, again, just plain I don't want to do it, should be enough. I shouldn't have to have all these reasons. I shouldn't have to prove how much it diminishes my oxygen or how, I'm breathing in CO2 and all. I should not, hello. No, I'm not even going to prove to you that it's scientifically, I just don't want to do it. And that's it. And by me having to buy in and bend down and bow my head to what I believe is junk science, propaganda, control tactics, groupthink, virtue signaling, I don't believe there's even proof that there is a virus that is infecting people, because where's the information? Please look up the video by Dr. Andrew Kaufman, where he goes through and shows us through the papers, through what they're using as proof that this thing even exists, is baloney. It doesn't follow the criteria for determining whether an infectious agent exists and is infecting people. This is a big deal. People are brushing over this. There's this post that got shared a ton of times, and there's a bajillion comments from all walks of life, all different perspectives. And people are brushing over this fine detail that the thing that they're so afraid of, the thing that they believe that they're going to dust onto their grandmother, has not been proven to exist. That's kind of a big deal to me. I don't know. The thing should be proven to exist, right? Consistently? It hasn't been, you guys. Please look up those videos. I'm not going to share all the details and proofs of it here. You have to look it up for yourself. And you have to see, do I even believe this? Can the statistics be manipulated? Can the media be painting a certain picture? Could this be happening? Please ask these questions. It's weird to go against the mainstream or what you, based on, what, and again, I know that people are I'm having genuine experiences. My dad has it. My friend has it. I know people who have died from it. What else was going on with those people? What else was going on with those people? This is where, we look at statistics, we look at numbers, we're not looking at individuals. I care about individuals. I care about what's going on with one person who develops a set of symptoms. I want to know, what was their emotional experience like? What was going on with them? What kind of treatment did they have? How panicked were they when they got the diagnosis? What was going on? Were they separate? There's so much more to the story. You can't say a person died of a particle that's not been proven to exist or cause contagious illness. You can't say people have died from this when there's no proof that the this exists, and you're not looking at whatever else was going on with that person. These are important nuances. These are important things for individuals to look into for themselves. And I invite you to do that, because this is it's becoming a big deal, and emotionally, I have an ability to detach myself from it. I believe that I believe that everything is coming around for the greatest good. I believe that the light wins, and I believe that things are getting better. And that, the dark, scary, horrible things that could be happening, I don't think that those things are going to succeed. I have faith, I have confidence, I have vision, and so I'm not scared of it. But I do think it's important for people to look at what they think and what they believe. I do believe that people have the capacity for introspection and have the ability to create a better experience for themselves, to live without fear of disease, fear of contagion. Like what's happening in this fear, like people's brains are shutting down. That's why, you may not have made it this far in the video, because it's too much. It's too much digging. It's too much thinking. It's too difficult to shake this paradigm. I've got too many objections in my mind to it. But if you're here, and if you're like, oh, I want to believe this does make sense to me, like work through it. Look at your own experience. That's the thing about GNM. This is not just someone's idea. This is biology. This is how the body functions. These are biological conflicts. Again, these are inherited biological programs from generations upon generations of successful organisms up until now. And to know your own apparatus, to know your own biological history, to understand my body is smart, my body is not attacking me, these germs are not attacking me, nothing can attack me, I am strong, I am healthy, and things that bring peace of mind and stability. Mysterious invisible germs do not bring peace of mind or stability. They bring panic and fear and distrust, and hypochondria, I follow peace. Peace is truth to me. Peace settles me, it grounds me. No outside danger. Sigh of relief. Outside danger, ooh. That's as simple as it gets. Your body wants homeostasis. That's balance. That's rhythm. We're a little more sympathetic active during the day, a little more parasympathetic at night. It's our normal flow, our normal rhythm. When you're in a heightened state of sympathetic activity, when you are feeling vulnerable, when you are feeling scared, fight, flight, freeze, fit in. Ooh, don't look at me. We get scared and our body begins to adapt. When that adaptation resolves, when we finally feel safe, tissue repair takes place. That's sickness. Sickness. There is no sickness. It's all health. This whole biological process, from beginning to end, it's all health. You're truly never sick. There's no such thing as disease. It's all normal, biological tissue repair and adaptation. There are a few exceptions to when, like a true injury. Obviously, that's different. Actual nutritional deficiency, like rickets. People can be poisoned by things. And so there are, again, nuances within the nuances, more to look at, more to examine. A lot of people write a lot of certain conditions and health stuff off on toxins, and there is a way to determine whether this was conflict related or toxic related, and that's by having a brain scan. Dr. Hammer found that when you do CT brain scans on people, you can see by looking at their brain what conflicts are active, what conflicts are resolved. And so if a person is exhibiting certain symptoms, like tremors or paralysis, to say, oh, well, was it the vaccine? Was it chemicals I was exposed to? Or was it conflict shock? Was it a motor conflict? Well, let's look at the brain and see, is there a predictable spot in the brain that's active with a Hammer focus, the thing that you look at on the brain scan. It's called a Hammer focus. And if it's there, it was conflict. If it's not there and the person's having symptoms, that would be something that implies that that was poisoning that's causing those symptoms. Very interesting stuff. A lot of more research needs to be done in this field. This is kind of in its infancy, but it's amazing, and I've never seen it to be wrong. And, if you're interested in learning the GNM perspective of your symptoms, I do offer a free 15-minute information call so we can chat and see, if this route can help you. Because it's going to help you live free from fear. And that I find to just be the most wonderful thing. There is no outside enemy. It has everything to do with you and your perception. And so there are certain conflicts you just can't avoid. Something is going to, catch you off guard. It's not about never being conflicted. It's about recognizing it quickly and resolving it as soon as possible. When conflicts go on for a very long time, there's extensive tissue adaptation. And it's the extensive tissue adaptation that leads to kind of like big deal diseases, major heart attacks, large tumors blocking colons. So in that conflict, it's been going on and on and on and on. You've been reactivating it. The body isn't intended to stay in fight or flight for such a long time. So there are some complications, and some, healing can get kind of intense when you're resolving a long conflict. And so that's why starting with children, teaching the children to trust their bodies, not to feel like I need a shot so I can go out into the world. The world's not safe. You've got to help the children feel safe. Know that there's nothing that is, no invisible bugs that are going to get them. These kids have to trust that their body knows what it's doing. Trust that their body can heal. And from the time we are born, before we are born, when we are in the womb, hearing the doctors talk to our mother about things that might be wrong with us. It starts early. So people, the question often comes up, what about babies, or like babies that are born with conditions? That baby was having an experience for a very long time before it met the outside world. And conflicts the mother experiences the fetus had in its environment, that initiates tissue adaptation also. And so even congenital type things, the body was doing the best it could in this environment to adapt to the stresses. And so it's amazing work. Reach out if you have any questions or if you need anything. It's well worth your time to investigate, to find out, is there more to this? Watch your experience. You can see this in action. The next time you have something, you will be able to see it in action, and that'll prove it to you.